Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Saturn here, and in today's video, I'm really excited to bring you guys an Electro damage Keqing build. And it actually took me quite a while to make this build because I've been running physical Keqing ever since I got her, which was pretty close to when the game actually was released. I've been playing her for months, and I finally got a pretty decent Electro build. Before I actually get into the artifacts and weapons though, I do want to give you guys a quick little showcase so you guys can see what kind of numbers you can expect with this kind of build. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. So now that you guys have been able to see Keqing's numbers, we're going to go ahead and go through her build. Now, I am going to be breaking down the weapons a little bit differently than what I normally would, and I want to show you guys why, because weapons are pretty important on any Keqing build, but I'm going to be breaking down the best weapons and the worst weapons for your Electro sustained Keqing. If you guys want to see an Electro quick swap video, I will do that in another video. Right now, her stats are looking at 1800 attack, and 73% crit rate, 218% crit damage. She's sitting at a 61.6 electro damage bonus. Let me go ahead and break down the weapons before I show you guys my personal choice, and we'll go ahead and get right into that. So guys, starting off with Jade Cutter, this is the best in-slot weapon for an electro damage Keqing with the highest damage output. It is very closely followed by Summit Shaper. Aquila Favonia ranks 3rd, but it has no chance against the other 2 5-star weapons, and on top of that, even with refinements, it still can't even compete with an R1 Jade Cutter or Summit Shaper. The Lion's Roar outputs the highest damage of all 4-star weapons, but it's only a tiny bit better than the Black Sword. And do keep in mind that the Black Sword is easier to build around with the crit rate and the healing that the Black Sword actually provides. Also keep in mind that the Black Sword is not dependent on Electro application like Lion's Roar is. At Refinement 2, Lion's Roar and Black Sword both outperform the Aquila Favonia. And at Refinement 5, both of these swords outperform the Refinement 3 Aquila Favonia. Blackcliff ranked 6th as the best free-to-play weapon for Electro damage Keqing, if you are willing to buy it from the Star Glitter shop. But it's very closely followed by Skyward Blade. If you don't feel like buying Blackcliff out of the Star Glitter shop, the Harbinger of Dawn might be the better option, but it is based off of your HP, which can be more difficult in mid to late game. The Flute has a very average damage output, especially in comparison to the other 4-star weapons, and refinements do little to nothing to improve it, so don't go chasing after refinements if you have the Flute and you decide to use it. The Prototype and Iron Sting are both craftable free-to-play weapons, and the Prototype slightly outperforms the Iron Sting, despite it being an Electro build. And last but not least, we have our 3 energy recharge weapons, which all really don't perform all that well in combat. So to sum up, if you're completely free to play, your absolute best option would be Lion's Roar if you have it unlocked. If you don't, and you don't feel like buying Blackcliff, you can always use something like the Prototype Rancor if you're completely free to play, and that's all you can use. If you got lucky and pulled a 5-star, most of them outperform, but if you even have an R2, Lion's Roar, or Black Sword, it will more than likely outperform it unless you have the Jade Cutter or Summit Shaper. Now that we have all the weapons ranked, I want to get into my personal weapon of choice, and that being the Black Sword. I got it Refinement rank 5, it has a 27.6% crit rate, and of course at Refinement rank 5, it has a 40% increase to normal and charge attacks, and it regenerates 100% of HT as HP when normal and charge attack scores a crit. But like I said earlier, if you do have the Lion's Roar, this will outperform the Black Sword, provided that you have the correct artifacts built around it. But also the Black Sword remains easier to build around, obviously because of the crit rate, like I said before, and it doesn't rely on elemental reactions to keep its DPS output high. I have a Skyward Blade, but overall, my Black Sword at R5 greatly outperforms this weapon, but it is still a pretty solid weapon if you have it and you don't have something like the Black Sword or Lion's Roar. Moving on to my artifact set, I'm using a 2-piece Glad and a 2-piece TF, and I'm going to go through each of my artifacts very quickly, but you can kind of get a gist of what I'm working with. This is a very good flower that I managed to pull. This has a lot of crit damage. This was very lucky. It's an on-set piece, so the chances of me getting a 4-piece Thundering Fury set is going to be very high. This one is also very good, electro damage bonus, and it's part of the Glad set. And this is my off-piece, which is kind of odd because normally the off-piece is the Goblet. Also, you don't have to use a 2-piece Glad and a 2-piece Thunder Fury. There are a couple more options. The first other option being Thundering Fury, 4-piece. It gives you increased damage to Overloaded, Electrocharged, and Superconduct by 40%. So if you're using someone like Xingqiu, your damage output will increase slightly, although your attack will go down a little bit, but overall the Electro will be higher. The last and final option you can get is the Thunder Soother, although it's only really viable with a 4-piece set, and it's a little bit harder to build considering that you do need a 4-piece set to build. But with 4-piece set, it increases damage against all opponents affected by Electro by 35%. Now that we've gone through the artifacts, let's go ahead and look at my constellation, although it's probably negligible to most of your guys' constellations. We only have 2 constellations for my Keqing. This one is mildly better for a electro damage Keqing, and for my talents, I'm running 10, 8, and 8. And guys, last but not least, we are going to go over Keqing's best party. Now for this party, I'm using Keqing, Xingqiu, Venti, and Bennett. Keqing's absolutely best teammate is going to be Xingqiu. These two function absolutely amazing on the battlefield because Xingqiu is so great at applying Hydro, and especially with a Sacrificial Sword, you can have almost 100% uptime on his Q, which of course Keqing relies on elemental reactions to get a lot of that electro damage. For our third slot, we're actually running Venti just to suck in enemies so they get the AoE of Keqing's E and her Q, but by the time that is up, usually I'm doing charge attacks with Keqing. For the last character, we're using Bennett just to apply Pyro, and he offers a little bit of healing, also giving her a little bit of a damage booster. Out of this entire party, I would say that Venti is the one who can be swapped out. You can swap him out for someone like Fischl, someone like Beidou, even someone like Xiangling. You could swap him out for somebody like Kaya to apply Cryo and get a lot of Frozen. But overall, this decision is up to you. Some of the best ones are going to be something like Sucrose or Beidou or even Fischl. They all function very well with Keqing. But because I have Venti and he can suck a lot of enemies together, he is one of the best for this build for at least her E and her Q. And that about wraps up my Electro Damage Keqing video. If you guys did enjoy, please go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment what other characters you'd like to see or if I missed anything out of this video.